Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all between the binary. This is Get Informed with Wajeeh. This is Wajeeh Lion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you coming on this morning. Fixing some things here real quick. Thank you. This is the base hat for my turban, but I need two hands to tie my turban instead of one. And I can't use my left shoulder, so no turban, just hat. So Trump, our supreme leader, His Excellency and His Royal Majesty, has arrived in China earlier this morning. He was welcomed in an amazing way. Any leader would love to be welcomed that way, even non-leader, you know. I would love to be welcomed that way. But, I'm not a dictator. Yeah, very interesting entourage indeed. Let's give you guys a thread to write your questions on Substack. To be honest, I haven't prepared much for this morning live stream, which means you get to ask more questions. No, not yet. I'm about to put it up. Okie dokie. Questions open. We'll see what you guys got for me today. This is all gonna be updated soon with my logo. Just waiting for the equipment to come in here. Then we're waiting on a little bit of coffee mugs from few people, including Malcolm. And then whoever wants to donate their nice pen, let me know. I collect them for since I was in middle school. And I've collected watches since I was in first grade. But my dumbass didn't know much about them. So one time I was invited to, our family gets invited to holidays and stuff. And a distant family member had like an Omega watch or something like that. And he came to me in front of my dad. He was like, trade me the watch you have for, this watch that I'm wearing. And he was wearing some nice watch and I was wearing a I was wearing a Seiko watch that one of my first grade friends gave me. And like I never betrayed that friendship. So I said no. It was an Omega, I think. But I'm a Tech Philippe boy. So I said no, and my dad was like, "Just give him the watch. I'll give you 10 of them. Just trade him the watch." And I was like, "No, I will never. It was for my friend." Stupid. Now I'm like, I should have traded it in a long time ago. The pure childhood comes out. Click that heart button, enjoy, invite your friends and family to join us. This is open to everyone, not for subscribers. Yesterday for subscribers only, not paid subscribers, subscribers. Uh, so hopefully this time is easier for everyone to join. I figured maybe. Is the Houthi movement growing? They don't really need to grow because they're an ethnic group and tribal group essentially. Not much of a, not as much of a tribe group as much as an ethnic group, um, ethnic Shiite group that is in Yemen, and they grow as everyone else grows. But their movement might be like Iran might be using them sometime soon. Who has questions for me? Get some significant activities. So negotiation is at a deadlock. Washington dismissed Iran demand for recognizing sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz and requesting billions of dollars in war reparation. Um, Iran chief negotiator Mohammad stated today that the U.S. must accept their terms or face failure. This is basically as blunt as it gets. People don't understand that the United States is not the one calling the shot for how this peace talk ends. And it seems like the White House in particular is having a hard time understanding that. And as that's happening, I see no actual peace talks happening in reality, other than we are going to talk about having talks about peace talks. Today, in surprising news, Australia has announced that it will join the French and British strictly defense mission to secure shipping through the strait. Australia is contributing an E-7A surveillance aircraft for the coalition. It seems like the type of support I'm seeing here is like minimal. What's the minimum we could do? And it feels like an outcry for wanting to do more, but nothing is happening. Iran has done an execution today where Iranian authorities have hung a 32-year-old man on the charges of spying for the Mossad, marking the sixth such execution since the war has begun in February 28. In Lebanon, Israel launched a heavy strike across the southern Lebanon on Tuesday ahead of the scheduled talks in Washington. And then everyone keeps telling me that we still have ceasefire somehow. What kind of ceasefire do we have? I don't understand. You tell me ceasefire while attacks is happening, how it's happening, I don't know. Beirut report 380 people have been killed in Israeli attacks since the April ceasefire has begun. Like what I said, we keep saying we have ceasefire and we keep seeing people getting killed. What kind of ceasefire? I have no idea. So essentially, the truce is non-existent. What is the casualty count? Casualty count went from 3,600 estimate to 8,000 estimate on in Iran to up to 9,100 plus people is estimated to be killed. So we're approaching the 10,000 mark slowly of how many people have been killed inside Iran. We estimate between 15,000 to 26,000 and a half people injured inside of Iran. Lebanon, we estimate 2,869 people have been killed and 8,730 people have been injured. United States, we're still at the 15 people killed and 538 people have been injured. Iraq, 117 have been killed, 361 people have been injured. United Arab Emirates and Kuwait, 23 people killed and 342 people injured. Um, Energy market at the moment has gone up $1 by since this morning. We reported it was 102. Now it's at 103 for the U.S. West Texas Intermediary. When it comes to Brent crude, it's at 107. Marbon is at 105. A recent Washington Post investigation revealed that Iranian strikes have damaged or destroyed at least 228 structures at U.S. military sites across the Middle East, including hangars, barracks, and advanced radar equipment in the Gulf states. The Iranian economy has a total cost of the war for U.S. has reached 29 billion. That is how much it has cost the U.S. to attack Iran at the moment. I estimate this is an under estimate from the U.S. government. I think it has cost us 60 billion. This is just the statement from the Pentagon. I feel that statement is an understatement because, uh, and in addition to that, Pete Hegseth is asking for $1 trillion for his next year budget, and he calls it a very responsible budget. While you're watching this live, I hope that you are going to share it with your family or friends and destroy that heart button if you like this type of content. It's a little dry and boring today because I haven't gotten into some actions or any of your questions. By the way, some of you like keep responding to my post like you use AI. Yes, I use AI to fact check. We use AI to uh, edit the post and make sure that it becomes easier to read than some of my broken English and some of my friends' broken English. So yeah, we do use some AI to speed up the process, but everything is investigated. The research is all done with the group of guys that are working hard on investigating the information. And then we're just asking for edits and fact checks. I don't understand how this is pissing. If it's pissing you off, I'm sorry, but you're not like some people are mentioning it. Like, oh, we caught you. Like, well, you're not catching anything. We use AI for our editing and for our writing, helping in making sure our fact check is good. If that bothers you, we apologize. We just it is a tool. You just gotta use it the right way, not abuse other people with it, and not. I do have one hand, so I do have a lot of typos. So I gotta use you know. One person has on his account, I'm a Buddha, practicing Buddha, and he's brewing in jealousy. I'm like, are you sure you're practicing Buddhism correctly? Relax, relax a little bit, relax. You either like the facts or the important information, or you don't. Internet is still disconnected from most of people in Iran. There is quite the damage in northern Tel Aviv in terms of damages and in terms of damages in Israel. That's estimated to cost about $11.5 billion. This is going to cost everyone a lot of money, and it's going to continue costing people a lot of money. Israel, let me triple check if Al Jazeera shows any update. No, Al Jazeera have not updated anything. How do you see the Mosaic system being integrated into a single nationalist unit for war proposes? The whole point of a Mosaic military system is that it is a part of a big military apparatus, but if the leadership of that military gets decapitated, the rest of the military becomes its own leadership. Each division becomes its own leadership. So they're not much, focused on the leaders as much as they're focused on the mission. Everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. Everyone knows who is their next target. And that's why, it took a minute when they said, ceasefire, relax, slow down. The Iranians took them a minute for all the soldiers to slow down and stop the attacks because they needed to communicate with all of the divided military branches. And with that, that's how they were able to withstand all of the U.S. attacks and attack back against all the neighboring countries, Israel and U.S. ships. Shouldn't Hexteth stay home? You know what? His Royal Majesty can do whatever he wants. At this point, you gotta respect His Excellency. He wants to go, you let him go. He wants to come, he's going to come. Until I go somewhere else, do not put me on the bad spot, okay? Don't put me in that spot. Next time, in Saudi Arabia, every time we say something we're not supposed to say, we say, "Watch out! You don't want the black minivan to show up." I don't want the black minivan to show up. Americans will start having sayings that we have in the Middle East. The wall has ears. You have to be worried what you say in America. Stephen Colbert is getting kicked out of his job, even though he's really successful. Everyone loves him, but the White House doesn't. So, you have to be very careful. And that's Stephen Colbert with fans. People love him. Jimmy Kimmel got fired and then they brought him back. Soon Seth Meyers. Soon Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Oliver, people don't know. Seth Meyer, they don't know him as much. But we have people trying to take us out. Maybe they're gonna make a military deal. You don't know. Except maybe say take Taiwan, give us Iran. Eh, You don't underestimate this White House in terms of how crazy they can get. What can we do to stop it? Well, if your Congress people don't want to do anything about it, you got to run for office against them. I keep repeating this. Even if they are Democrats and they're not doing their job, run against them. Don't make them feel comfortable. Don't make them feel like they are safe in their position. That's part of your checks and balances. You don't see someone that you like, you can't run, nominate someone that you like. As simple as that. It's not simple. I say it's as simple as that, but it's not simple. Uh, Vote. Don't move. Vote. Call your senator. Call your representative. And even then, this is going to take months. But you have to start now. This is not going to end anytime soon. This is not going to end next week. Even if you start working now, this is not going to end next week. But you got to start working now because if you don't, in a few months, we're all going to be in a nightmare. You won't have access to medication. You won't have access to food. You won't have access to uh, plastic. You won't have access to hair gel. You won't have access to makeup. You'll have shortages in everything. You're living in a safe zone at the moment. We can't protect Taiwan from China. We can't protect the GCC nations from Iran. And we have so many assets that we are getting kicked out, and we need NATO. I hope I am wrong. I wish I am wrong, but this is my estimate. Everything I have predicted and estimated came out to be true, unfortunately. Are you currently struggling feeding your family? I'm sorry to tell you, tomorrow's going to be worse. Are you struggling paying your bills? Tomorrow. I'm sorry. Tomorrow people will be laid off. Companies will close. That's where you're at. That's the situation you're in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People are getting bored from this live stream, huh? Will freedom of navigation ever return as it was? Not as before the war, no. Especially not in the Strait of Hormuz. Nothing will be the same in the maritime sea. Someone says having talks about having peace talks. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. What is the future of Lebanon? The future of Lebanon is the future of Iran. If Iran gets its stability figured out and gets to make the United States back down, there should be some solution with Lebanon. But I don't see how Iran would let go of Lebanon anytime soon. And I don't see how Netanyahu would let go of Lebanon anytime soon. So the conflict is continuing. Again, I keep repeating there is the situation we're in is a nightmare because everyone in this situation is looking for a maximum of steel. Like the Hezbollah, yeah, Hezbollah, they are fighting the the Iranian they're fighting the Israeli government and have been fighting the Israeli government, and Israel killed their leader just a year ago or two. So they're wanting revenge as well. The Lebanese government has no control over Hezbollah. They have no control over fully the military. The military is not strong enough to take out Hezbollah. Hezbollah is considered to be the most militarized militia on on the planet. So they're well trained. They have experience in war. What would happen with the Palestinians? The Palestinians are going to be sadly on pause. The whole globe is busy, including the Americans. No one is going to be paying attention to what's going to happen to the Palestinian. It's a perfect opportunity for the Israelis to abuse and take more control, while the whole world is trying to figure out how to end this war with Iran and how to get maritime traffic back on action and how to get gas and basic uh, energy security needs. Uh, People are going to forget what's happening to the Palestinians. I hope you guys read my red alert yesterday. I published a red alert. There was a small mistake. Someone pointed it out and I fixed it. Appreciate it. But everything else should be accurate on there. It is about how much in trouble we are. So much numbers, so much statistics. I tried to make it as simple as possible. I strongly recommend you guys reading it. It's about protecting land. It's about cultural heritage. It's about history, heritage. Um, this conflict goes years, if not hundreds of years back, if not 1,000 years back. So yeah, it's not easy to fix this. The NPR reported Israel coalition government could collapse due to the ultra-Orthodox Jews pulling out, and that's very interesting because even though Netanyahu is having a very, extremist, hardline views for the rest of the globe, for the ultra far right Israelis, he's not going far right enough for them. And majority of people in Israel who are either working in the tech sector or serving in the military are liberal Israelis who don't want anything to do with this war. Meanwhile, so you got the Israelis pushing, the Orthodox Israelis pushing for this war and not wanting to be not wanting to send their kids to go and fight that war. They want the liberal Israelis to, and that's creating, a conflict within the conflict inside Israel. Before this war and before the Gaza war, Netanyahu was being investigated and he was being taken to court. Uh, so yeah, let's see. No other questions. Curious, not able. That's okay. You can write your questions here for me. I'll try to read it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do Canada stuff. Let's not rush into that yet. Water for blockade, Navy. Is there a shortage in terms of water for who? For the U.S. Navy? I'm not sure about that. Oman is an important player. They have been originally negotiating the peace talks, but the United States basically betrayed them. Where do you see Yemen as a player in the Middle East? Yemen is a failed state at the moment that is, going through a civil war and going through a lot of foreign intervention, including from the Gulf states and Yemen and Iran. And I think Iran might be winning that influence game. And if anyone has any more damage they could do to the rest of the globe, it's the Houthis. on Bab al Mandab. And so the macroeconomic shock of the disruption has pushed the Brent crude spot price, so the price right now, to $141 a barrel in early April. An extreme scenario where a prolonged blockade pushes the crude beyond $150 a barrel puts extreme global recession on the global economy. Under that prolonged condition, global inflation would surpass 6%, and the United States GDP would decline by more than 1.3 points. This is not to mention that the current US debt is 125% of the US GDP, meaning your debt exceeds your national GDP, meaning you can't afford this war and you borrowing money for this war. Rising oil, inflation is stressing the US Treasury market, pushing the 10-year yield toward the critical 4.4 threshold and causing gold to sell off as the opportunity cost of holding it increases. Meaning that we have to sell gold in order to continue affording the shit that we're doing, whether it's on a governmental side or the citizen side. We used to borrow most of our money from China and Japan, but they have cut that back. The United States, yeah, United States, yeah. Now they're borrowing most of their money from domestic people, domestic investors, selling stocks and bonds. Japan has lent us 1.2 trillion dollars. United Kingdom has lent us $897 billion. China, that I just mentioned, has lent the United States $693 billion. But China used to be number one. Our foreign lenders used to be more, but because the United States is no longer the place that people trust as much as they used to, Their investment is no longer coming. No longer lending the United States money, including China, because they have other projects. So they're doing like the BRICS. But if China tomorrow goes, give me my money back, the United States would be in deep shit because they don't have the money to give it back to China or Japan or the UK. Will the Middle East hearts ever soften to the point of being able to create a cooperative? Not anytime soon. I used to be someone who's asking if I can call the prayer. Yeah, I used to be mueddin. I used to do the call of prayer for the mosque. The overland pipeline bypass in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates can only transport a combined 6.5 million barrels of oil a day, leaving a severe structural deficit of 13.5 million barrels of oil per day that's needed for global market. Now, the state thinks they're doing the global economy something amazing by selling its oil, but they're betraying the American people first. Yeah, we're basically screwed. Someone's asking for screwed. Yeah, yeah, we're basically screwed. That's what I've been trying to tell you guys for a minute. If that wasn't clear, I am ashamed. I'm sorry. Yesterday, I talked about how, what you guys could do to slow that effect for you guys in terms of community. And the best way you could do that is buy stuff within your community, make your neighborhood farm, am I a professor? No, hopefully one day. Make a neighborhood farm, make trade stuff between barter with your friends and family, trade services for goods and goods for services. Um, those are some of the best ways that you guys can mitigate that economic influence over your house. See if you can get eggs, your eggs that you eat on a daily basis. See if you can guys get, some neighborhood chickens, and those chickens will give you eggs, and you save some of those eggs for the incubators, and some of those incubators grab you more chicken, and then you get more eggs and you still share those eggs and you save some more eggs and you put them in the incubator and you get more eggs. And that's one way to do it. Uh, you know, this is out of, this is something maybe you would see in other countries, but maybe have a neighborhood cow. I haven't seen that in person, but see if you can get neighborhood cows for your neighborhood to, have milk to give away. Milk is going to get, everything is going to get expensive. And as continue to buy from one company, or if you're used to buying everything from the grocery store, you're going to be immediately impacted. Start using your seasonal ingredients instead of being used to having imports from things from, across the world. If you have a seasonal ingredient that grows automatically in your area, see if you can go and get them. See if you can forage around a lot of places in the United States in particular have a lot of trees and a lot of food, gets naturally grows in these areas. See if you can find someone that can teach you how to forage some of these um, fruits and vegetables that are in your area and see if you can incorporate that in your cooking. If that's too much work to do, I understand. If you got some money, donate to your local food bank. See if you can join the local food bank and be part of, spreading that food around. Malcolm was earlier talking about, donating food to your local animal shelter and making sure that you can buy diapers for babies who need it. Shit like that, where we are so dependent on it. Our humanity is dependent on it. And we can do something about it if we stand shoulder to shoulder. Someone says, get your mason jar now. Someone say, I wonder when the Yemeni Houthis might join to block the choke point. This is the trump card. This is the ace card that Iran has. They're saving the Houthis to a time where when shit hits the fan, so they can shut down Bab al Mandab and dismantle the rest of the global economy. That would be horrendous for everyone in the globe because the rest of the oil that the Saudi government and the 6.5 million barrels of oil that the Saudi government and the UAE government is selling would all get disconnected from the rest of the globe, and the rest of the globe then would be in deep shit. Um, they're also saving their attacks toward, facilities in the Gulf states like water desalination plants, or oil processing plants. All of these are have not been hit like in a very bad way, and when they were hit in like non-serious locations that are easy to put down to show that Iran is capable of precision attacks on these Gulf states and essentially proving a point. That's why the United States has been very careful in terms of what they hit in Iran, and we have not seen the United States come back into this war very strong because they fear the Iranian retaliation. What I've been trying to say is the United States and the Gulf state have not calculated this war very accurately. and they have very much underestimated Iran as a super regional power. And that mistake made them spend half of the US precision weapons on Iran and resulted in nothing. And what I mean by nothing, meaning it resulted in not having the government fall apart. It did not result in Iranian government yielding or opening the Strait of Hormuz. And it has not resulted in peace talks. Therefore, they're like, maybe we should stop doing whatever we're doing. Maybe we should pull our ships back and put them in this in the Gulf of Oman instead of putting it in the Persian Gulf or the Arabic Gulf. Shit like that. So that all shows you that the United States wasn't prepared and now understand what is actually at risk. And all of a sudden, they have like, they're like, yeah, our peace, our ceasefire is indefinite until we get to a peace talks. Meanwhile, Trump is like this the the blockade is a genius idea. Why is it genius? Because we're selling US oil. Motherfucker, we need that oil. The United States needs that oil. US citizens at the pump needs that oil. No, we have to sell it to abroad. Who's making a profit? Not you, not me, not the government, the company that's selling it. I told you guys, someone is talking about shortages. I told you guys shortages will start occurring. Next thing will happen. Now you're seeing like chips bags being printed only in black and white. Tomorrow, you're not gonna even have chips bags. Tomorrow, you're gonna have medical shortages. Tomorrow, you're not gonna have electricity. Tomorrow, you may not have school. Tomorrow, your government services might shut down. This is the simple stuff that you're talking about. The fact that chips companies are having shortages and are printing in black and white and they're no longer printing in color in some countries. This is the simple stuff. This is gonna get way worse. I wish someone is listening. I read an article recently that said Bibi has many things on Trump, so he will keep following Bibi's wishes. You know, Trump responds to blackmail. He does. That's why he's Putin's puppet. Our supreme leader. Please do not make fun of the supreme leader in here. Putting me in that position again, Mr. Steve. I told you I don't need to make fun of him. Please don't make fun of the his royal majesty. Any other questions in here? I have to have this podcast end in literally 2 minutes because I have an immediate appointment after this. Uh, I will try to prepare something for you guys tomorrow to talk about. And I still haven't heard anything from Wajahat. I still need to communicate with Kate Justice. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. I'll post a message today to see if anyone wants a premium membership that I can give away. Um, I feel like people are getting bored from me keeping saying that we're facing a unpredictable situation. We're facing a very bad time. We're not looking good in the future. I don't think people are believing what I have to say about that, and you know, it's very sad. It's very sad to see people not fully recognizing what's at stake. I hope it wouldn't be too late for everyone. Like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching this on YouTube, you might be too late. You haven't seen this live. You're watching a recording. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and share. Click that bell icon so you can get the latest notification. And then come to my Substack and subscribe to my Substack. It's free. If you can become a paid subscriber on Substack, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. It helps us pay the bills and do this work full time, so you don't have to do it full time. And like I like to say, ma salama, bye bye, وبالإنجليزي goodbye.